ones that know sports are playing. And even if they're hurt, coaches usually got them now running the camcorder or something. So it can be kind of tough. But if you're doing this in a classroom, you got all the slave labor you want, right? I mean, and they're going to be just clamoring to get to do this because you can do some cool things. You can make your own movies, you know, and put them up there. Communication. One of my favorite, all-time favorite movies. Remember the sheriff? You know, what we have here is a failure to communicate. When you're going to somebody else's house, or they're coming to your house, you want to get in contact with them, especially if it's the first time you've been there. When we first started, I contacted the other school at least a week ahead of time. At least a week ahead of time. First you want to find out, who do I really need to talk to? And it's probably not the principal. The principal has about 1,600 other things to worry about getting ready for the game. The second one that's probably not is the coach, unless the coach is the tech director. They don't want to deal with it. It may be a custodian. It could be the tech director, but a lot of times it's a custodian. I've had custodians bust their hump to run a piece of network cable for me, or climb up on a ladder, you know. And I worked as a school custodian when I was during summers when I was in school, you know, waxing floors and everything. So I mean, you know, I'm there with them. But you've got to find out who is in that building to make sure. A lot of gyms still don't have very good Wi-Fi coverage. You know, a lot of schools don't think about it. Now, any school we've played now after 2 years, they know what we do. So they're at least prepared. But even then, during basketball season, if we had a Tuesday game that's away, I will have already contacted them a week before. If it's home, I'll contact them again on Monday. And then I go back during the season. Every Monday, I send more emails. Hey, just a reminder. And I give them our link. Get this out in your newsletter. Get it out to your radio people or your school, website. Put it on there. Hand out to kids, whatever, to parents. The more the merrier. We've had as few as 2 computers hooked up. But to those 2 people, 2 computers, we estimate usually there's 2 people, 2 per computer. Well, you'd be amazed how many grandparents we have that they got their sons or daughters or grandkids or something. They hook it up to their big widescreen TV at home, and on game night, they're there. I start up, let's say the game starts, the middle school basketball game starts at 4 o'clock, 7th grade girls. I turn on at 3:30, and there's already 15 computers hooked up. They are ready to go. We were at, I think it was Maxville, and they were going to have 5th quarter. Now, I had asked, is there going to be a 5th quarter? Our coaches, no, I don't think so. And then toward the end, halfway through the 4th quarter, I see where our coach is going, and he goes like this. And I went, okay. And I'm in the chat room, and I said, hey, does anybody have somebody who's going to be playing in the 5th quarter? And it was from Maxville. And they said, yeah, our grandson's going to be playing. Can you stay on? I said, I'll stay on. If somebody wants to watch, I'll stay on. So I did, so what? To them, that was as important as if their kid was playing in the London Olympics coming up. Because otherwise, they lived in Iowa. Were they going to get to see their grandkid play? The kid's a 7th grader. They asked which number, or I asked them which number. They gave me the number. Reminded me of my Fort Wiki story when I first started teaching. Kid's 7th grader. He can't walk or chew gum, let alone at the same time. But I had this kid then. I moved away, coached North for a few years, come back. He's 6'5". And because I was middle school basketball coach and he got to play, he stuck with it. Now he's by then he's a junior or senior, 6'5", goes plays JUCO ball a couple of years. And he always said, I would have quit. Wouldn't have been for you, 7th grade, I would have quit if I didn't get to play. So anyway, but that's kind of communication. I mean, that is vital. You have got to communicate with people, and you got to keep communicating. Upfront expenses is your camera and computer. Again, you don't have to spend $2,000 on a camcorder. You don't have to. You can get decent ones for $500 or $600, but it's got to have firewire. External audio, we can hook up. This has the thing. I can hook up a boom mic, Zoom mic, that kind of thing. Again, the problem with games, though, is if you're trying to talk over your mic and there is an audio mixer in the program, it gets kind of tough. You really almost have to turn this off for most games. Plus, like I said, you're picking up the crowd. And guess who's going to be heard? The mom or daddy who's griping about the referees. That is just the way it is going to be. The faster computer you got, the better off you are. This is, you know, MacBook Pro, 8 gigs of RAM, 750 gig hard drive, the fastest processor they sold. I started out with one with 4 gigs of RAM, smaller hard drive, slower processor. It just started sucking, you know. We couldn't do the higher quality. We just couldn't do it because of the processing, because you don't have to use livestream itself. In fact, you can use Adobe Live Encoder, which is a free program, and then stream it up to livestream. And there's another way of doing livestream. You can go to their website and there's a studio thing. You can insert scores and insert running stuff. Well, you need a second computer to do that. You have one doing the streaming and one running the studio. In our situation, we're looking for portability and ease of use. So we just don't do it. But since told me that you can put the new ones with the Thunderbolt, you can get a little accessory and go FireWire, then the new ones. Because I was worried, well, crap, I'm going to have to keep this baby going forever. But in there's Windows and PC version, but it needs FireWire input. That is the key. Okay. Especially football. Football field isn't always right next to the school, so you can't always grab your Wi-Fi. Okay. You know, everybody, Wednesday and early Thursday, they were having issues with the Wi-Fi here. They drove to Frontenac, Southeast Kansas, the company Ubiquity. That's my schools, that we redid our high school Wi-Fi with this stuff, 65 bucks a piece. It's easy to manage. I mean, if I could do it, anybody could do it. Things are fantastic. 802.11n, high speed. They also make a Wi-Fi bridge. Power over Ethernet. Okay, 3 miles. 49 bucks a piece. 100 bucks for a set of these, and you can go at least 3 miles, maybe a little bit more. They make ones that are more powerful than this. These were 49 bucks a piece. This is 802.11g, but they make 802.11n ones that'll go like 5 miles, and they're like 80 bucks a piece.
What's the name of that company? You spell it?
Ubiquity. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's in there. Ubiquiti, I believe.
Okay, and so the first thing you held up was a wireless router. Is that what you held up?
This is a wireless access point they make.
And then the bridge does what? You plug that into
the bridge. You have power over Ethernet. It comes with power over Ethernet. So you plug one connection into the internet, into their local area network.
Yes.
The other connection comes up to here, shoots it over to, like, let's say.
So you hold it. You plug it into the 110 volt jack in the wall.
Yeah. This is it does power over Ethernet. Instead of having a separate power supply, they call it power over Ethernet.
Okay.
So it actually shoots the power over this, over the network connection. You know, because really your network cable has 8 cables in there. There's really only uses 4 of them. So the other 2 can be used for other things in power. But their Wi-Fi access points are like that, and they come with it for 65 bucks a piece, 180 bucks for 3 of them, 185 bucks.
That does what that'll shoot it. You said 3 miles to
another one.
Yeah.
I used broken photo tripod.
Yeah.
They lost the head. It was in my office when I got the job.
So you need 2 bridges, and then you have to have an access point too, or you
No,
just hook,
no. That's just their access.
You hook to their access.
You hook into the school's local area network with their. You set it up in a window, like when we were at, I think it was Southwestern Heights, in their learning center or their one building, and it was over a quarter of a mile over to the football field. I got this plugged into their network, jacked it up, so I got line of sight. On the football field, I literally, this is my fancy stand, and you can see the duct tape, but I literally duct tape it to the stand, have my connection, it has power over Ethernet, plugs into the network connection on your computer, and you're on their network. It is unbelievable. And we went to Solomon, and they had the football field is right across from the school. Kindergarten room, set that one up, and you program these when you get them. There's a little, kind of like, you know, you go into the web interface. You tell one of them you're the broadcast. You'll tell this one it's the receiver. Good idea. On this one, I wrote REC. On that one, I wrote send. Not that I would ever have accidentally put them backwards, because I did. And I was like, crap, it's not working, what's going on? Oh, get in the car, drive a couple blocks, switch them, okay, now it works. But that's it. You don't have to, that's all the programming you have to do for it. It took 3 minutes.
So do you have to have the little circular one as well?
No,
Or is that separate?
That's a separate deal.
Okay.
That's just a general Wi-Fi access point.
So
to
all
build.
you have to do is plug it in from the LAN line into the bridge, is what you're calling.
There would be 2 cables. And this is the one for power and Ethernet. The other one would go into one of those network jacks somewhere in the building.
Okay, so it does have.
Yeah, it has to have a connection to the local area network. And then you shoot it, you have this one, and then you hook this one directly into your computer.
And that's you're calling power what?
Power over Ethernet, PoE. See, you learned something today. You ever hear somebody talk about PoE? It's power over Ethernet. As
That one
opposed,
doesn't have to have power.
yes, it does. It has to be power too. It has
So it
power
has
over
to
Ethernet.
have power over Ethernet.
So you gotta have power wherever you are. Now, to do that, you do have to have power. We can go with battery. I recommend whatever camcorder you get, buy the biggest battery they make for it, along with the little POS one that comes with it, that only goes about 20 minutes. I got this big honker for this thing. It's about this thick, goes 3 hours. You know, your computer's gonna last a few hours if you remember to charge it, which hopefully you did. Yeah, K-State, girls basketball tournament last year. We get there for Wednesday for our first game. And I had contacted K-State as soon as we made it, you know, to the state. And I said, hey, we want to, now to do state broadcast, you have to be affiliated with a radio station. The Activity Association will not just let you show your sorry little butt up and broadcast back home, because they're afraid it's going to hurt the game. And I mentioned that. Some people, oh, it's going to hurt our game. I had one school principal, oh, it's just going to cut our attendance at home games. No, it doesn't. Ask Sterling. It actually increased their attendance. It increased our attendance because people saw how good, well, our junior high teams, our girls and boys teams, 8th graders, both went undefeated in volleyball, in basketball, football, and track. I mean, we got class freshmen, incoming freshmen, that we got some studs and smart kids. It's not a very big class, but they have a lot of quality, and they were fun to watch. There were a few times we had more people watching junior high games than we did high school games. I mean, they are unreal. Run the court, they're fun. They're fun. But anyway, we get to K-State, Ahern Fieldhouse, or you know, the big huge thing with about 16,000 steps going up and down. If you ever been to a game there? I didn't find out until about the 4th trip they have a damn elevator in place. Jesus. Well, and I contact them ahead of time. They go, oh yeah, we got Wi-Fi, special Wi-Fi login for the press and everything, no big deal. Got our announcer, Eagle Radio out of Great Bend, he's set up. We got the Wi-Fi all set up. We get there 2 hours before the game. Everything's cool. I go to log on. I can't get on. Wi-Fi, I'm hooked up fine. No internet. I have the people from Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. They start calling. Finally, they get a hold of one of the K-State IT guys. He goes, you know what? After the last home game, we disconnected that Wi-Fi from the internet. And you're like, seriously? Did these people at K-State not realize high schools have computers too? So 10 minutes, literally, 10 minutes before game time, they found a hardwired connection down at the score table. We're clear up here where the TV cameras are when we watch games. I had a couple high school kids, my son and I were hauling all this stuff down. We broadcast the first game from hardwired from the score table. Different perspective, different perspective. People going, and we had 499 viewers, 499 computers as we played Oakland. Now, the second game, Friday and Saturday, or maybe, yeah, Friday and Saturday, because they won the first game, so they played 2 more. I brought my Wi-Fi bridges, and I kicked myself the whole time that I didn't bring them Wednesday. Plugged the sender one down on the score table, hardwired it in, pointed it up there, had a couple of gentlemen come by, you know, what might that be? I said, it's a Wi-Fi bridge, could you just please don't set right in front of it, or set on it. Go up, clear up high, duct tape it, plug it in my computer, we were golden. It worked. Okay? And guess what? We had plenty of bandwidth there. Nobody else in the place was using because nobody else could get on. So you can use your cell phone as a hotspot. In an emergency, you can use your cell phone as a hotspot. You cannot go very high video quality. And in fact, when we came down and played Word Alive here in Wichita, our first home football, or first away football, first game of the year, we played Word Alive down here. Well, where their stadium is, well, stadium, that's possibly a little bit of an over-exaggeration. I see the smile, yeah, somebody's been there. Hell, we couldn't even get to figure out how to get to the field. I'd been down at a nerds meeting over in Andover watching Rob Dixon's NASA set up for their computers over there. And we couldn't figure out, finally, we're on the north side of the bridge, or the river, and we're hearing banjos. I'm like, finally I called back, how? And there's a road, you gotta come here, over this bridge, and then you get to the field. We couldn't get on Sprint. We couldn't grab Nextech up where we are in Kansas. We couldn't get on Sprint. We couldn't find a Sprint cell phone good connection, Verizon connection. We finally had enough. I just blanked the screen and we could do audio. That's all we could do. I mean, we just, Peabody I have up there. We get to Peabody, beautiful press box, nice new press box, got limestone, beautiful. Okay, our assistant coach has a Verizon MiFi. They said, oh yeah, we got a Verizon cell tower right there on the elevator, it's a mile and a half away, no problem. Well, his charger for his MiFi card, he didn't realize it was broke. So I'm about ready to give up. Well, and I kind of moved my laptop. If I hung my laptop halfway out, I was picking up somebody's Lynxes from their home. We broadcast through that. And thank God they didn't reset it or decide they needed. They probably wondered why, Netflix wasn't working very well that night. But it wasn't secured, and I thought, yeah, okay, we'll use that. And I had to be real careful because it almost fell once. That's the Guerilla. That's where I got the Guerilla part of the title. You kind of sometimes you just, because I mean, if you would have seen me right before, I poured sweat and everything. That's why I always was. Because you're always afraid, oh my God, what's going to go wrong now? And sometimes, if you're at a school that has 2 trees, God love them, but you better contact them ahead of time because when 2 trees runs the internet for that school, that sucker's locked down. And you have to contact 2 trees directly and find one of the techs that's willing to open up your IP address, or you ain't broadcasting nothing. So before, and again, that's why you communicate ahead of time. If that's the first time you've been to a school, find out who does your internet. If it's mom and pop ISP, it may not be a problem. If it's some big corporation, those are usually the ones that cause problems because they're, the school's paying out the nose for that. But you can use your cell phone in an emergency. You can use your cell phone. I had a Droid now, we switched to iPhones, and I may have to, pay the extra $20 a month during football to have this available if I need it. So, excuse me.
So, how many gigabytes does livestream use though? If you were doing hotspots, then wouldn't it?
It's like 190K. If I'm using a cell phone, the lowest quality upload is 190K. That's not very much. If you want to go high def, you're talking about 3 or 4 megs of upload bandwidth you need.
But I think she's saying, so to cover an event, how much of your contract would you be using? Because obviously you've got a limited amount of download, upload that you can have.
No, we don't. Ours is unlimited.
It's unlimited, okay.
$79 a month. We get 25 megs down for each building. We were paying with E-rate. We had a big WAN from Wilson down to Hollywood, Bush, and Claflin. With what I switched us to, we're going to save $60,000 a year. We don't have, ours is not limited. And they literally said, hey, when you have game nights, you need, because what H&B wants to do is they want, now we're hooked up with fiber into their new system. They got this $7 million rural grant for, fiber to all the houses and farms and everything. They want to be able to feed our broadcast back into their cable TV system. Okay? So, and I'm going, that's fine, If you're going to give me 25 megs of internet for $79 a month, I'll give you our fee. That's fine. So, and you may be limited, depending on where you are.
Well, like a cell phone you would be.
Our cell phone, our school district cell phone are on unlimited data. That's part of the deal.
That's nice.
They're unlimited data. Now, not everybody has that. K-State, I had a lady the first night when we were having trouble. She had a Verizon phone. She goes, you can use mine as a cell phone. She goes, I've got unlimited data. She goes, you can use mine as a hotspot if you needed to. And we were about 30 seconds away from doing that. But again, one last picture of our setup. This is something I wish we would broadcast. Ellenwood, where I live, last summer, they had a cattle drive. It's like the 150th anniversary of, the cattle drive. They drove 200, something like that, head of Longhorn down Main Street. It was insane. Now, they got partway up past it. This is downtown by the church, and they just come through, and they've been on the trail for several weeks, so these are tired cows. But these are big mamas. Now, they did get a little further up, and a couple of them kind of wandered into these people's yard, did their business and got back in line. But they kept announcing, if you have a dog or anything, take your dog home. Don't make any noise. I've been to pro golf tournaments. There was more noise at a pro golf tournament when Tiger Woods was getting ready to putt than there was with these Longhorns, because everybody went, oh my God. But anyway, I just threw that picture in. That would have been a cool thing to have live streamed. And that would have been a cool event. You can do community events, but again, be careful. Otherwise, you're going to end up doing everything. So, again, I want to show you the program now. How are we doing on time?
You got about 5 minutes.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to go. Livestream Procaster is a free download for Windows or PCs, and you get this screen when you come up. Okay? This is what it looks like. You can set what kind of camera do you have. You could use your FaceTime camera on your computer, if you want. Like I said, you can live stream from your phone if you want. But it's an HD camera. And then you can also, here's where you can set how much bandwidth you need. You ask about bandwidth. Look at the different options. Now you can't go high def unless you have the premium channel. $3,500 a year. Okay? I put it out in our newsletter. I had people literally coming up to me this last year. How can we get the premium channel so we can go high def? I said, it's $3,500 a year. I had farmers, ranchers, small businesses. I would rather pay you guys so we can go high def than pay radio stations for advertising. Okay? So I think between, there's a lot of little well services, oil field businesses and things. But you decide what quality you want. I always try to broadcast in at least medium and mobile, 876K of bandwidth, but you can go all the way down to 198, I guess, not 193. And you have the camera on, your microphone plugged in. In the other preferences, you've got here, you can go to audio, you can open up a mixer. It knows it's a Shure Digital because of the XLR adapter. You set that, you set your sound, okay? And you save your settings. And you go live. Now, you can expand this picture up here to where you can see it. When I had my slower computer, I didn't use this view very often because the computer didn't have enough processing power to be streaming and show this. So now you can see what's going out. So you can adjust. It's not much lag, is there?
So
this is going through it, but if you want to get on it, go on our website. You can get on it now. USD112.org, or go to livestream.com/USD112. I wanted to make it tricky. But that's it. You're on.
Does it?
USD112. Well, or go to livestream.com/USD112. Either way.
Does it, and you may have said this, does it auto-archive what you've done?
The newer version does.
So is that a paid version, or is
No,
that
the free one, what it does is saves it on your computer too. As soon as you go live, it's saving it on your computer. It also archives it on their website.
on live stream?
Yeah, and as the administrator,
Can you put it on?
you can go down and you can download it.
You can download it and put it with.
And then bring it into iMovie. And I'm trying to work on our sub-state and state girls basketball games and combine it down to like 2 DVDs for 6 games. I don't know if I can squeeze it that much, because we go online maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes before the game. And we might stay on afterwards and show the crowd and people are waving, you know. And so I'm trying to cut all that out in iMovie, clip all that out, and get cut out to halftime.
So how do you, so, for instance, like, on our website, we would just have a link?
Just put a link. You go
So-
to usd112.org, over there on the left are very prominent links.
Okay, and so like on in order to get this going, you set up a username and password and an account in livestream.com?
Go to livestream.com, you create a free channel.
Okay, and then so the other things that you were talking about, like iHigh and iStream?
Ustream, those are similar services.
Okay, so, but you use
I
livestream.com?
use Livestream because I can go widescreen. Right?
So can you, so when you're sending somebody from your site, you're linking to live stream, so you're not like embedding a player into your?
No. You can even do this through Facebook. There's a live stream plugin on Facebook. They can go to their Facebook, the district's Facebook page, and they can watch the live stream link there.
They can.
Yeah. You can also, this also has
Is it like a
Twitter.
player?
Huh?
Is it like a player or is it just a link?
It's just, I think it's an embedded player in
An embedded
Facebook.
player? Okay.
Over here is our chat room.
So Scott, it's looking like it's about a 30-second delay, is that about right then, or what?
It's longer
It
than that,
depends.
for timing it.
It depends. The other delay you get is when they're watching it, the free version, commercials show up
Okay.
every, little bit. Not too bad. The one school, Wilson, the other school in the district, they said somebody got on the first, like at 5 o'clock. By 9:30, when the last game, it was about 10 minutes behind because of the commercials. But if you go with the premium channel, there's no commercials. A lot of this, but when you consider this is getting streamed from here,
Boy, it's really-
up through the wireless, going to New York City, coming back, 30 seconds isn't bad at all. And you don't get, the other thing I like this compared to iHigh, with iHigh sometimes you get a lot of digitizing, and this is just medium quality. If you're looking at it online, this is just medium quality. This isn't even our high quality. Our high quality knocked your socks off. People couldn't believe it. I didn't get it going until the very end.
So the ads that are popping up, what are?
You don't have any control over them, but if you go premium, there aren't any ads. We're gonna make our own local ads.
How many?
If I sell this, we're gonna make our own ads.
Are the ads are they appropriate? I mean.
Yes, they're at least age appropriate. I had one complaint, they thought one for some game was a little inappropriate, and I looked at it, I'm going, really? Come on.
If you have TVs in your common, where the concession stands are at and that stuff, and you want to stream it there also.
I would use a different setup. I just use a camera and just a switch box and stream it from there. I wouldn't do this, because that just, one school I knew tried it, and man, that messed with people's heads. Because they walked out, and it's not matching what they just saw on the screen. And it was like, oh, why'd you do it that way? So no, we're considering that with another camcorder and just having it a direct feed to a TV for our concession stand. That's too much hot tub time machine. People start. It was kind of weird. Real quick, I know we're already out of time, but since it's purposeful mingling coming up, let's purposefully mingle in here for another couple minutes. I want to show you the stat program we
Watch it
use.
on your cell phone too and your iPad.
Yes, that's why I always, if at all possible, I go with at least medium and mobile. You can turn off the mobile, but so many people bring their iPads to the games.
So what's the best one? Is medium and mobile the best?
Because of bandwidth issues, I usually start with medium and mobile, where I know if I'm at home, I can go high, medium, and mobile, because I know I got plenty of upload.
So you do all three
You can
of
do
those?
all three. With the premium channel, you can go high def, high, mobile, or high, medium, and mobile. You can broadcast 4 channels if you got enough bandwidth.
And so.
It's
like
it's
how
really
much
4 different
bandwidth-
streams.
How much bandwidth are you
Right now,
Same
this
cell.
was using like 876K.
And you
It's
saw
less than a
medium
mega
and mobile.
upload. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And if you go to livestream.com, they've got some H.264 things, some other encoding things, hardwire encoding. There's lots of different ways of skinning this cat. What I went for was mobility and ease of use. But okay, here is this stat program. $4.99 in the App Store. And you can set up, we'll just go here, one of our previous games. Now, $4.99 stat program, I just do it by team. I do this while I'm broadcasting. While I'm doing the play-by-play, I'm doing this. Okay? You can have individual players. I cannot do the play-by-play and keep track of individual stats for rebound shots and everything. But let's say it's a three-pointer. Notice what happened, the three-point line turns red. So I know that was a three-pointer, and so I don't screw up. And it was a home shot, and then they made it or missed it. If there was a rebound or if there was a block, you got all these options. This is a cool program for $4.99. We had parents bought it for their iPads so they could keep their kids' stats during the games.
Every game. Where was this, like 12 years ago?
No kidding. And there's some out there. You want to look at stats? There's a Shot Shark. That's cool for halftime, after the game. I mean, I sound like ESPN.
So
I
that,
got
is that
Shot
what
Shark.
you get
Yeah,
from that?
from that,
what
yeah.
you're doing?
You even get season stats. Current, season to date stats for $4.99. It is a cool program, and it's boom, 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 boom. That's it.
And what the name of this?
iHoops.
Stat-
iHoops.
iHoops.
Does it, and, oh wow, and then it keeps all of your stats?
Yeah, all your games. I had one group for middle school games, one group for high school games, the
Wow.
leagues.
And do they have like football too?
They don't have a very good football one yet. I
What
have
do you
yet to
use?
find a good football. We just use paper. My son
Okay.
keeps track on a,
It's fairly slow.
like, yeah.
It's not
Easier than basketball stats.
But, I mean, talk about easy to use. Keep track of timeouts, fouls for $4.99.
Okay, so when you're keeping individual stats with that, per player, so then,
Instead of saying home and visitor, you would say, here's our team. Okay, now on home, I've got 5 players.
wow, okay, that's
But
awesome.
to do play-by-play and keep
Sure,
track of
right, but
individual
I-
stats is too much. But our stat guy,
That's what
he does that. He uses this. But even then, I mean, you guys know that been around coaching basketball especially, it really all you need a spotter and
Yeah.
somebody inputting.
That's
And there is, the cool thing, some schools, they just do it on an iPhone instead of an iPad. So you don't have to think with it. But a very, very cool program. Very cool program.
Now,
Thank
can
you
this
guys very much,
information
though.
be sent to Max Preps then?
No, I don't think this does. Max Preps has one.
But it's
Um,
that.
But the thing about Max Preps is, if you want to do something like that, ask your coaches first. Because most coaches don't want anybody to know how good their team is until the playoffs, when they made the playoffs, and they don't want anybody. And again, the advantage, that's another reason we're going to go premium, so we can archive, or we can password the archives. Because I know, like Toby there, my principal was a girls coach, and he was, he was frustrated the other schools could watch our whole season before they played us. Well, we go premium, we can password that, and they can't get in. But, slick program.
On live stream,
Thank you.
how much, it archives all your games?
It keeps about 10 hours before it starts deleting the oldest. So what I do is, as soon as, the next day or so, I download it.
Okay.
As the administrator, I can go in and download it, and then I'll burn it onto the DVD. I'll tell you one last thing our football coaches love. They would send our broadcast to the other team for the next game. Well, because we zoom in, and, so the other coaches can't see the overall field like they want to. Our coaches thought that was hilarious, that they would send them that, like, man, your video, you can't see anything. Oh, well, I'm sorry, that's kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
And it made them happy, so.
And then, so you would like two bridges? and-
2 bridges.
And the other thing, or no?
No, you don't need that. That's just a wireless access code.
Like that
You
one
just
in the
buy 2 of
building?
these bridges, $49 a piece. You're good to go.
Like that one in the building? and-
Yep.
Okay, got it.
And this one is your receiver, and you're done.
He said